Well, look, there's been some further progress as well in this battle. As you say, it's a fierce battle, but it's moved to the Parliament of Australia now with the United Australia Party Senator Ralph Babet joining calls for an inquiry into the harm being done to children as a result of LGBTQI plus gender fluid ideology. Now, Pauline Hanson's had some things to say about this as well, but what's the significance of this now being elevated into the Australian Senate?
Well, look, it's really necessary. There's been lots of calls for either a royal commission or some sort of parliamentary or Senate inquiry into gender clinics, because they've had free rein for about 10 years, Lyle, where these gender clinics are prescribing drugs and putting children on pathways that are harmful and irreversible. They've really avoided any scrutiny. They've been able to put pressure on academics and studies and get funding withdrawn. So it is time now, and it is at that federal level of Parliament where this will happen, to get these inquiries, to get a really rigorous and analytical investigation going into these things, because too many children, too many families are being destroyed by this ideology. Yeah, absolutely. Epidemic of children turning up at these clinics, somewhere around from 200 to 2,000 over the space of about 7 or 8 years. You're calling for a royal commission. You mentioned that. So people can go to the Binary website, is that right, and sign your petition calling on the government to have a proper inquiry, shine a light on these gender clinics? Yes, very much so. So binary.org.au, there's already thousands that have signed that. We need thousands more to do so. And I can say over the coming weeks, Lyle, I'll be meeting with other people in this space and with parents in particular. We will continue to present this to the politicians in Parliament to have the stories told, because it is a very serious issue, and children, as I said, are facing things like sterility, no sexual function, bone and brain development issues, and this has to be addressed before any more victims are created by this transgender industry. Yeah, absolutely. I've said this before, Kirralie, but I just wish there was a way for the victims of this to sue the politicians who are allowing it. We know the lawsuits have already started, even here in Australia, from people who have had their bodies irreparably damaged. Kirralie, we've just heard from Bob McCroskey in New Zealand about the violent attacks on Posey Parker. What do you think this means for this debate and for freedom of speech, and how do we keep the public square open so that these discussions can continue, so that we can protect kids, essentially? Yeah, well, the footage of what Posey or Kelly Jo Keane faced, and her supporters, elderly people being punched in the face, a lady or someone having their foot broken, these things are, it's beyond comprehension this is happening, but it's really necessary. Hopefully people who have seen that footage, and it was mainstream footage and it's going right around the world, will wake up and understand that, you know, this was a group that just a group of women who wanted to simply speak, and they're being faced by aggressive males appropriating womanhood who don't want women to speak. So let's hope, first of all, that that does wake up many people who otherwise wouldn't have understood the issue. But how terrifying for those women who had already, they were there to share their stories of domestic violence and rape and things that had happened at the hands of violent men, and then they were confronted with that again. I think that we just need to keep hold our ground, stand firm, encourage one another, come together. There is strength in numbers. Support organisations like Binary, like Let Women Speak, and others that are in this space, because we need to have a voice and we need to have these discussions, because, again, too many children, too many women are suffering at the hands of this violent ideology.